Good morning, and thank you for joining us in our morning meditation. Today's meditation is entitled Class and Ideological Turning Test. Suppose you are concerned that your view of the world is too narrow and self-reinforcing, that you're stuck in a so-called filter bubble that leaves you most exposed to ideas and perspectives that you already agree with. As a result, you view opposing perspectives as not just wrong, but basically crazy. You deserve credit for even worrying about this. A prominent symptom of widespread malady described is total denial of the possibility that other points of view might have some overlook merit. Tyler Cower, a popular blogger and economic professor at George Mason University, is remarkable for his ability to deliver supremely confident judgment about everything, from high-level policy issues in Texas barbecue to, but even he has confessed to concern about having in a filter bubble. And he has offered some potential solutions to having in a filter bubble. It's much harder to dislike people face to face than over the internet, he observes. You could insert yourself into an environment where you're a minority and thus will feel an instinctive need to integrate yourself with others. So, if you're a conservative, spend some time with academics in the humanities. If you're progressive, visit a right-leaning church group. Cowan may be correct that this kind of face-to-face interaction is the most powerful strategy for addressing the filter bubble problem. It's also fairly difficult, involving time and resources you may not have. So he makes a second suggestion, which is he's teasingly warns may be less pleasant, perhaps precisely because it may turn out to be effective. Specifically, it means passing an ideological turning test, a phrase he attributes to his colleague Bryan Caplan. The original Turing test involves the attempt to observe a robot or computerized artificial intelligence that could pass for a human. This iteration involves passing for a prominent or views you oppose. Keep a diary, write a blog, or set up a separate and anonymous Twitter account, he advised. And through that medium, write occasional material in support of views you don't agree with. Try to make them sound as persuasive as possible. He offers the aside that if you need to keep your own sense of internal balance, you could make this the kind of form of opposing view dialogue. And if you don't, you want to make it public, create your entries offline and then destroy them when you're done. You don't have to expose yourself. It's the practice of looking at things from another view that the writer is challenging us to do. But one way or another, spend time making the best case for the opposing point of view at least once a month. This brings us to the ideological turning test. Can you articulate a view you don't agree with? Pass muster with people who actually endorse it? Show your work to someone whose point of view you oppose and find out. I remember in one of our worship services that Sean, who is a licensed attorney, said that when he was in law school, he was required to present a case from both sides, both the prosecutor and a defense attorney. And this challenged him to see things from different perspectives. I think that's the challenge that's being presented to us today in this meditation. The challenge to listen so closely that we can actually hear what the opposition is saying and not simply live in our own little bubble and keep on repeating to ourselves what we already think, what we already know, and what we already believe. I invite you to join me in trying to embrace that challenge today. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord cause God's face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look upon you with favor as you attempt to pass an ideological turning test. Shalom.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, Pastor.